Hey there, thanks for joining us at the Rabbit Hole of Research, where you'll learn a few facts that you can impress your friends with at a party.
Hello.
Episode 6, Joe and Nick are back.
Doing stuff again.
Drinking beers. Drinking some beers. Yeah, today I have a bacon break. It was a barrel and flow collaboration between Trillium Brewing Company and the Brockton Beer Company. So it's a nice little double IPA. That's an India Pale Ale for all you non-beer folks out there.
Yes. And I got the Calm Before the Storm by JWB. A sour ale with vanilla, peaches, and coconut.
That sounds like something. I'm not a big sour beer guy, so
Joe, I still don't understand that.
Yeah.
You want to give your credentials? Who are you? What do you do, Joe?
Yeah, sure. If you don't know, I'm a research scientist and author. How about you, Nick?
Wow, you're really underselling yourself. I'm Nick, and I'm just Midwest Valley girl.
Midwest Valley girl.
Like, all of my likes.
Talking about me underselling. Business owner, entrepreneur.
So, Joe, what's our topic today?
Yeah, it's one that I enjoy talking about, and I put it under the guise of infection. We're going to talk about infections, but really, I just want to talk about zombies.
I mean, who doesn't?
Zombies are cool and don't get enough attention. They haven't been in the media really big time since like Walking Dead some years ago.
I do have something to bring up. So I don't bring up Michelle often in this, but you're I
don't know if ever, right?
I don't think ever.
Yeah, six episodes in. I don't know why you would.
So you've had flour tortillas, right? Mm-hmm. The other day, me and her were talking, and she was comparing corn tortillas. I'm sorry, corn tortillas to like fleshy. How do you get that one?
To flesh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Flesh from like pigs, or
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
She was like,
"Oh yeah, a lot of flesh.
Corn tortillas are like flesh."
I mean, in terms of like texture, like maybe not taste.
I guess texture.
I would hope so. I don't know what goes on.
This is the first time she's ever brought that one up, and
I've not had any. So corn versus flour. So flour is less fleshy.
Flour is bready.
Okay.
Corn is fleshy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess I don't know. That's weird. I've not.
I mean, I felt like that one had to come out like in this episode because we just talked about this, and I'm like,
flesh. Yeah. Did that make you want to eat?
No, I'm a little bit more concerned.
Okay,
yeah. A little concerned, Joe.
I would be concerned also. I don't know. That's weird, but that's very zombie-like. So that's kind of that craving of
brains.
That's the classic one, right? Was just watching Return of the Living Dead. Why was this on? It was on Tubi, and so I kind of just threw it on.
Not sponsored.
Before, we got no sponsors yet. But yeah, it was kind of the worst of the Living Dead. No, it was fun. It was comical. It was silly, but still interesting because it went off the lore, and infection was kind of it. Thinking about it, because that was, an infection is something that microorganism, virus, gets in, it's in a kind of an invasion, multiplication of a microorganism, such as bacteria, fungus, virus, parasites in the body that enter, and then they replicate and essentially try to take over, right? And your body's fighting back against that. So
The Last of Us, that show last year covered this pretty well, I think. That was
cordyceps, yep. A fungus.
Glad you took that word from me.
Right, there it is.
I was going to stumble and fall.
I thought that was really interesting. It was well done. It was a play on the pathogen kind of model. So the pathogen is the infectious agent that comes in. So you call it like a pathogen. So that was a fungus, kind of fungal species. And it was kind of a play on, because it's a real fungal species, which infect, I believe, ants.
I think so.
And then it kind of gets in there. It makes the ants then go up, climb to the highest point of a flower, and then sticks its butt up. And then the flowering fruit then forms, and then that displays, and then it's part of it. The fungus life cycle is in a different organism. A really interesting one. Same thing with toxoplasma. It's a protist. So toxoplasma. Toxoplasma gondii. It's a parasite. It actually is really cool, and it's one of the few organisms that actually infects mammal brains. So cordyceps, the fungus, does not infect humans. Want to say that there's a lot of reasons it cannot infect humans. It's kind of part of its life cycle. Temperature, the human body is a little too warm for it to replicate. So right, you got to be able to have good conditions. So the body's too warm. So there's a lot of reasons why in the show it was fiction, and to make it real, you would have to make some bridge between the actual organism and then it infecting humans. But toxoplasma, it actually will infect, and it's kind of an interesting one. You can catch it by changing cat litter, and it has a dual life cycle. So part of the life cycles in mice, in rodents, and so they have it. And actually, when the they get infected, they will actually attack cats, and then the cat eats it. And then it goes and then the parasite infects the cat, and then it lives its life cycle in the cat, and then in its feces, that's where it's passed. And then if you're, then rats and stuff are around, they get infected, and you have this nice little life cycle of the organism. And if you're a human coming along, taking care of your cat, that happens to be out. Mostly they're, outdoor cats that come in and out. But yeah, that's why pregnant women, they recommend pregnant women should not change cat litter because they could get infected. So
and
yeah, really interesting.
Zombies.
No zombies. Nobody's having zombies.
Hey. So, I mean, it's not a stretch that, humans can become zombies, right? Like, it's possible?
Yes, it's a giant stretch. It's a stretch. A Stretch Armstrong stretch. A Plastic Man stretch.
Hey, a stretch is still possible.
A stretch is possible. I think that, right. So you have to have the conditions of it. You would have to have kind of the human condition as we see it, a thinking kind of creature to revert back to like our lizard brain kind of thinking, stimulus response creature. You have to be continually decomposing, yet still functional, and then your bodily fluids are contagious, because if you just became a zombie and that was it. The one thing about infectious diseases is that not only infect you and try to take over you, but they try to pass on their infection.
It wants to live.
I mean, we're adding some consciousness to it now. I don't want to do that.
Any
like,
species
it's not the thing,
wants
right?
to
so that's
continue on, right? Like,
right, yeah. So I guess yes, it's but it's doing its thing, right?
Yeah,
so life part of it is replicating,
life
and
has its
continuum.
Has a way.
Life does have a way. Yeah, that's a different episode, I think.
Hey, that'll be down the rabbit hole down that one.
So yeah, so I guess I have like a few conditions for zombie pathogen. Or let's think about it this way: is that you got to meet kind of those things, and other people can chime in if they think I'm wrong. But one, it's got to be transmitted bodily fluids. I said that. You got to ensure total infection, so you got to have it complete. It's always fatal, so you got to have a fatal thing that you revert back. You must consume flesh. You got to hijack all necessary functions for movement, sensation, response, provide at least some nutrients to itself in the body. So that's something that's never talked about, or it's kind of glossed over why the zombies are actually eating anything. And then allow continual movement. And then you have to slow the decomposition of the host. So I kind of think you got to do all those to get a realistic zombie. You got to have a pathogen that will kind of provide all those factors that you keep the thing moving, you keep it finding, you keep it eating, a desire to eat, all these kind of factors in there. So, and it can pass it on, right? Because
aren't there things in nature though that are like this, that have this outline of a zombie, right?
Yeah, I know, right? So that's cordyceps we just defunct, right? No, there are pathogens, but none for humans, right?
Yet.
We're a little more maybe complex than ants or some of the other because a lot of them are insects, I believe, that are all.
I think there's
infected there.
I believe there's one spider that can get infected by like a zombie, right? Mm-hmm. It's an arachnid.
No, you're right. It is. I
learned that from Spider-Man.
Have a little newsletter on all that. Well, yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, that's the fun of it. And then you have it. I guess then for movies, we're kind of talking about that. I guess in movies and fiction, you have the zombies get kind of parsed out, I think. So we talked about the fungal zombies, which are in The Last of Us, and that was the video game, or
fantastic game.
The Girl with All the Gifts. So that and I, the thing, that game and that story, they kind of came out around the same time because they follow similar lines and really, really kind of good and well thought out. I think the path to zombieism is pretty good. So you have it there. What was I? And then I was going to say that you have the infection base, but then you do have which were kind of some of the original zombies in nature, and that's the voodoo zombies.
Yeah.
So right, so in the first kind of zombie movie was in 1932, White Zombie, and that was kind of there with kind of hallucinogens, and so kind of a toxin, a poison that's there, and you had that, and then you have Serpent and the Rainbow. He kind of, once again, he became kind of a zombie-like creature. And you have all that. And that was more these kind of drugs that induced this state of apparent death, which lasts for kind of hours.
Going off the drug ones, we end up entering like the Resident Evil zombies, where that was a lab-grown drug. What was the name of that? Do you remember? Was that
I don't know that
I'm
one.
drawing a blank on that.
Yeah,
the name
yeah.
of that one, but it was a lab-grown drug that got out and infected like a whole city.
Yeah, that was the whole
The speed of which it,
right,
overtook was incredibly fast, even though they aren't fast zombies.
right.
It was
Fast
just
zombies,
fast
slow
zombies.
zombies.
I mean,
Are you a fast zombie fan or a slow zombie? Are you like the 28 Days Later zombie or the kind of Romero zombie?
honestly, it depends. I think I can outrun a slow zombie.
Can you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, not well, but I can outdo it faster than a fast zombie.
I don't know. Yeah, you gotta.
Fast zombie,
gotta
I'm
go.
just.
Well, I guess
I'm
so.
lost.
Really. So this always kind of I thought about it. When I think about zombies, I was going to say a lot, but they're there.
You do.
But when you have the fast zombie, the thing that always bothers me with that is how the zombie acquires more ability than they had as an actual human,
And the
all right?
coordination.
Because you're actually when you die, not see that one of my requirements, you got this slow decomposition. But either way, I imagine that when you're headed towards death, which is like old age, I think that's I'm equating it there, that you are less powerful, not as fast, not as strong, or on average. There are some people who work out, they're gym rats, they do it. I envy them, but
Definitely not one of them.
no, I am not. I tell myself every day I need to stretch more. Please stretch out there. You listen to this, stretch. I'm gonna stretch more, but you do. But if I became a zombie, I don't think I'd become more flexible and faster. I mean, I like to think I'm fairly athletic now, so I might be faster than the average person of my age, but I'm not going to all of a sudden become like, Olympic fast, running people down.
What was that, DayZ, where they were all running super fast?
World
too?
War Z.
World
War
War Z.
Yep,
That's what it was.
Yep. Based on the Max Brooks book. Yep, and then a movie with Brad
Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
right? Yep,
that was a Brad Pitt film.
It was a Brad Pitt film, but so that was always my thing about the fast zombies, and not many people handle it or talk about it, or even the decomposition. I'll give a little bit. Joe McKinney in his Dead City series. And so he had it in that series. You go through the normal zombie lore and what's happening, but then he has I don't know which one of the books. It's like a bunch of books in the Dead City series where they use nuclear weapons to try to slow down the horde, and they become radioactive. And in terms of that, then that slows their decay, and they kind of become these super kind of non-decaying zombies, and that leads to intelligence in the zombies, or re-sparking of intelligence, which in Romero movies, he did the same thing, where it kind of came and they were all of a sudden becoming, kind of intelligent. The infection was maybe forming some homeostasis, kind of some equilibrium in the body between the human condition and the infectious agent.
So, Joe, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
How long do you think you'd live in a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, I'm all ready. I always think, I was just joking about, I joke about this because I don't consider myself like a survivalist nut or anything like that. But I do think about it, like how, where I live. We have like when we moved here, I was super excited because we have like a little stream that goes behind our house. And I was super excited. It's like, we have water. Like if things go to pot, we have a water source out back, right? We just filter that and we're ready to go. So it was like just thinking in the real estate, it was like, what are you talking about? Like it was like kind of just going through. I do think about it. So I do have things. I grow stuff in the garden. I do a bunch of, I'm a scientist. So there's just this innate thing. You tinker a lot. You're curious. You have this. I brew beer. I raise tilapia in my basement. So I do have these kind of the skill set that's above and beyond. Like you think when
you're preparing for the barter system.
You got right. So it's funny. I save all the little packets of soy sauce from when we get Chinese food. So I have a drawer full of that, and every family's like, why are you saving that stuff? And I'm like, oh, eating just rice and grain every day, people are going to give some good stuff for a little bit of flavor and a a little bit of spice.
Yeah,
like Dune, right? So we're going to be there.
You get a little bit of cayenne. That's right. Cob, like give it a little heat.
I need a few bullets. I'll give you a few soy sauce packets. Let's do it. Let's see what we can do.
You want some duck sauce? I got you.
No, but I think I'll be. I think I can make it. I can go. Like if I'm rating myself 1 to 10, I think I'm like a 6. But that's just because I'm not stretching as much as I used to, right? So
it always goes back to the stretching
right.
for you.
That's right. You got to stay limber, man. Because I'll probably pull a muscle and then I'll get eaten, and then I'll be your worst enemy. I'll be like the smart zombie dude rallying the zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, yes, I'm a zombie now. I can come here. Let me teach you things, and I'll eat your brain.
I know that. What was the show?
Bring a new meaning to pick your brain.
Oh, what was the show where it was like a TV show? It was like a little ragtag group they were going through, and one guy. He had he actually could control the zombies. Oh, I can't remember what that show was called. It was really good.
We'll put it in the footnotes. Don't worry.
The show notes. They're not footnotes. We're not writing a report. Fifth grade report here. The show notes.
It might as
there.
well. I'm
now I'm like kind of that's going to bug me. Like, what was that show? Because I was going iZombie. It was like kind of in that same little. Are you familiar? iZombie, the comic.
On the CW? Are you talking about the TV show?
Maybe it was. Yeah. Where. It's a gong. We do not have a gong in the basement studio. But yeah,
I stumped Joe.
No,
there's gonna be a gong.
I don't know if it was on CW. I watched it on Netflix or something.
Interesting.
I mean, I think it was out like 'cause they syndicate stuff on there. Do people still say syndicate for like reruns now? They just buy the rights to the show. Like when I grew up, things were syndicated on a different channel.
That's how Seinfeld got
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, Friends.
Yeah. I didn't watch
that
Friends.
terrible show.
All right. I don't want to go there. I wasn't a fan. I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to comment. I'm going to hold my comments. But if iZombie, you might be right. But I watched it when it was on Netflix or Hulu or one of those, and we got into it, and it was really good. And I read the comic, so it was a comic first, and then they did the show, so it was really cool. But I did like that. But that was kind of at the heyday of the Walking Dead. Kind of
zombie craze.
But yeah, I was the Return of the Living Dead. We started there, but that was also kind of tethered to the lore, the Romero Night of the Dead, and kind of gave an explanation of why the zombies came back. And so a lot of them are virus, bacteria, fungal. But this one was that there was a 2,4,5 trioxin, and it was kind of interesting. So I looked that up because I was really curious because I had thought about it, and it was one of the few zombie movies that was toxin based, besides kind of the older white zombie kind of voodoo based. And you had it was the idea was kind of based on Agent Orange, because when they explained it was like, we used this to kill marijuana plants in the movie. But yeah, it was Agent Orange was a real life kind of a defoliant used in during the Vietnam War, and so that was it. And so
that makes a lot of sense.
There's two chemicals that are used to make Agent Orange, and one is 2,4,5-trichlorophenoxyacetic acid. Woo! Say that a bunch of times after.
Now, what is that, Joe? Can you say that again for me?
I am not saying that again. So yeah, it's kind of a dioxin. It's used to kill plants. Right? They were using it in the jungle. It had a bunch of side effects. It was a horrible, horrible thing. And then the other thing, there was 2,4,5-trioxin that was also related to the chemical triazane, which is used by morticians to repair cells and maintain a corpse's contours after post-mortem tissue construction. And in that movie, they went to the crematorium, and they had this whole thing, and it was really kind of watching. It was like, that's really. I mean, they put some thought into it, which is kind of cool. When you do a little bit of science tethering and you can look it up. I mean, still, the movie was over the top silly and did not follow the zombie lore at all.
I mean, I feel like out of most B horror films, zombies have it, like where they're just off the wall.
They can be, but I think they can also be extremely serious. And
I'm pretty sure when you exited out of the movie, I saw one of their recommended films was Zombie Strippers.
I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, it's kind of. I agree. You can get into the weeds, but also I think if you take the genre of zombie movies seriously, you can make the argument that they usually hold a lot of social commentary. You can think about it you can tether it to our response to being in corporate America, or waking up, doing your job, kind of just doing the same thing. So you have this kind of thing. A lot of zombie movies came during social unrest. Romero in The Night of the Living Dead, him consciously doing it or not. It had some social context there if you watch it in that lens and think, okay, take out the hokiness, or suspend your disbelief about the zombies and how they were there, and just think about the social kind of context of what was going on and the dynamics with everyone in that house and how they were responding. So it was interesting. And as you see movies, there's some, I don't know, I guess, I'll put a little bit of this in the show notes because it gets a little out there, but some correlation between kind of periods of, since zombie movies was the late 60s until now, that you have these kind of spikes where you see more zombie movies. Usually there's more kind of social, kind of political, kind of
Isn't that
upsetness
between zombies and vampires, I think.
And in vampires, it's more like economic.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that you have these things that spike through, but I think you could take the genre seriously. And then a lot of zombie movies like The Walking Dead show, it went from the fantastical kind of, we got zombies, I don't think they really went into how we got zombies and the biology of it all. You suspend disbelief and you move on, but essentially the show then dissolves into human interaction. Right. So you go through, and that the social kind of conflicts are bared out as you struggle for survival. And then when you even find comfort, you still have that struggle for leadership and all of the things that makes us human, I guess,
I mean, I honestly feel like most of the people in The Walking Dead were just like, a lot of them were just really shitty people, though. Like, the way that they get to where they are for surviving that long, they tend to do some terrible things to not only the undead, but like the people living too.
Yeah,
they treat everyone like a threat. Which, I mean, if everyone is being like that, everyone's a threat then.
But I guess if you extend that out and you think about it, you have now a situation where you have an abundance of resources, right? So it's kind of, we're going to the Thanos idea that we get rid of half of everything.
I feel like we talked about Thanos recently.
Yeah, that came up, and I think you haven't. But you have this now. You created this situation where you have resources, so you're not resource limited anymore. So now you've taken that out the equation. If you think about what causes human grief and societal kind of issues at some level. So once you take that out, what are you left with? Because of this thing that happened, people were lost who know how to keep the lights on, who know how to keep the water running, who know how to grow crops, who know how to make medicine, who know how to make weapons. So now you have a knowledge-based loss. Thinking about it, and if you kind of put that show through that lens, or any human conflict that reduces the population to that level, and you start actually, things start breaking down, that knowledge then becomes the resource that you fight over. It's no longer
But
it's no
going
longer
back to
stuff.
the Thanos in Endgame, everyone was thriving pretty much in that film before everyone came back.
All right, I think
Like-
right, but
I mean,
we were.
it was like, oh yeah, the ocean's repopulating with whales.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, everyone's housed now.
But that's not right. You're absolutely right. But they also had. I mean, it was interesting because they
showed the
they didn't
positives.
discuss that, right? But you probably had places on the planet where it was already a poor place and it just became poor because maybe the few people who knew how to do something no longer can do it. So right, it was very selective, and I can imagine that there were places when Ant-Man came back from the quantum realm and he's walking down the street. I mean, that street looked like there was this garbage piled up everywhere. I don't know who was thriving there, but it looked like that this kind of civil function wasn't functioning, and there wasn't enough people to complain about it. Like, it was like, I'm gonna go complain to who would I complain to, right? I think there was like I'm just gonna stay in my house and hang out. So you're right. I think there was this thing where, but you still had crime because you had Ronin going around, Hawkeye as Ronin going around, kind of killing.
He was killing the bad people.
Yeah,
though.
but why? But who were these bad people?
I mean,
selling their wares to? It was enough bad people to have an organized crime. I mean, right? So it was like, so that there was some hand wavium there where they had to reach the story and they had to build it so that it seemed like this great thing. Now, I'll take the flip side. If you take humans out, natural resources like animals living and thriving, yes, I think that was probably very true. You take humans out from just killing everything for whatever reason, kind of going through it intentionally or unintentionally, you take that away, then yeah, sure, I think you would. Bird species, there's how many species are going extinct? How many species did Thanos force into extinction, right? Because there's some fragile species right now, and so if he went down the line and 50%, that means that you've probably now pushed a lot of things into extinction, not just on Earth but other places. So unintentionally, I think he did the thing that he didn't want to do. Like, he was trying to save things, but really you probably pushed a lot of organisms into extinction. So that's something to think about as you go along. They don't talk about that.
Listen, he wasn't completely wrong. Like,
he was very wrong.
Whoa.
There was nothing.
Whoa.
His whole idea was wrong. I mean, it's like,
He tried, okay?
All right. Well, he tried and failed. And he did fail, luckily, and we brought all the humans back, and now it's, a crappy world ready for the zombies. What if?
Yeah.
Marvel zombie.
Well, I mean, it also almost got eaten by, in the Eternals.
Almost got eaten?
Yeah, by the Celestial. Remember? No. It's just dead.
I don't remember.
Did you not watch that movie?
I don't think so. What movie?
The Eternals.
Oh, yeah. I that's one of those that it was, yeah. Yes, I watched it, but I didn't. I didn't watch it. Let's say that.
You watched it, but you didn't watch it.
Yeah, it just kind of washed over me.
Honestly, I didn't think it was as bad as everyone said it was.
I don't know if it was bad. I think the problem was...
It was a Marvel movie for adults, and
no, I mean,
no one really wanted that.
It tried to be for adults.
Like,
there was a lot of characters. It was a lot. I mean, I think it was like... I should go back and watch it again, give it another fair shake or two. But you're right. It was one of those things where it was setting up a bunch of other stories that really haven't tethered to anything, because I think there were some disruptions we all lived through that kind of broke the magic of... we almost all became zombies, right? That was that's what happened.
Close.
So close. We were there.
So I do have one thing to ask you.
Yeah, go for it.
What is the possibility of zombies in space?
Zombies. So alien. You mean
like something coming from space?
Oh,
and
I see.
making
Right.
us
So
zombies?
the actual right. Yeah.
Like
all right. So I'm gonna give you.
Coming.
So I guess I should step back. We can put a pin in that, because and actually I did go down. I went down that rabbit hole a little bit, because it's one of the ideas. But I have my own thinkings. I think you can get to. You ask, can we get to a realistic zombie? And I do these art and science talks, and I've talked about this. And I think I think you actually, it won't be a single pathogen, an infectious event. I think there'll be two infectious events that will happen. And one of the things is that you have your primary brain, the one that's on top of your head, and then you have your second brain, which is your gut, right? So you have it's kind of...
I knew that's where you were going.
And that is where I'm going. And so I think that's so you have a lot of control there. Your microbiome population is there. I don't know the numbers. I should do a little bit, but you can quickly become more bacteria. If you say your gut's filled with bacteria, beneficial bacteria, they do a lot of good things. You need them. We hear now a lot about probiotics, but yeah, so you have this situation, but when you die, that starts decomposing you. So somewhat you got to keep those bacteria at bay, because you talk about the decomposition thing, you got to have that. So that means that the primary one event would be things in your gut is ready to take over. Like something in your gut is just waiting for you to slip, just let it in. And so you have now that ready. So that would explain why the infection can pass so fast, or even in like Walking Dead, where it's like, well, how come we're ready? You're primed. You're kind of primed for infection.
All right. I know this isn't a zombie event, but in Futurama, Fry has those stomach worms, which was building him up.
Yeah, that was
I'm
trying to think. The Parasite trilogy by Mira Grant or Shauna McGuire. That was I guess fast forward, but it was there was like a biological tapeworm used to deliver medicine, but essentially it infected. We're having a little technical difficulty here. It was used to that can infect people, and it's somewhat that it's known. It was really great research done on that story. These tapeworms, they can actually make it through the brain blood barrier and then kind of infect and kind of take over the human body and condition. So that was one that you don't think about. So that was a good run there. You all right over there? Are you
I'm good. I'm
becoming
perfect.
a zombie? You have an infectious event?
I just had a whole bunch of yeast in my mouth, and I was just so close.
Don't know about that. Yeah. The beer yeast starts the apocalypse.
Listen, I don't know what just happened in my mouth, but it was just chunky. You can edit that out so they...
I know. They have to leave it in. But you asked this question, and you brought it up about the Futurama. I'm like, yeah, there's actual real thing that you could go...
that you can get from a gas station tuna sandwich, right?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah. Tenia solium. That's the tapeworm scientific name there. So you have the gut bacteria there, and then I think you would have a viral or some fungal, whatever organism you want that would take over the primary brain, and I think you would have these two things working in concert to get to a zombie, and then you could pass it on, because all you got to do is pass the primary brain infection on, and people who are primed, their gut biology would dictate then who would get infected and who might not. So you could have a situation where not everyone that comes in contact with the primary infection would get it right away, but they could eventually, if conditions become favorable for a secondary infection. So I think that's kind of the way I kind of think about it, because you got a lot of systems to take over, and we talked about that. You got to take over the brain, you got to take over gut, you got to tamp down, decomposition, you got to keep functions going. So it's kind of a complex system there. But you were asking about space.
Yeah, something
Space.
coming from space, like something that we don't know about, and
If we're gonna think about it, we'd tether it to something real, then you would have to go with something like The Thing, right? So that's kind of from space, because that was a space. I'm thinking about that, and you would go, and so you do have this creature that comes. It infects people. I don't know if it turns them into a zombie. It's kind of the biology of it is a little strange, because it goes and it wants to replicate, but it also wants to stay hidden. And those two things seem to be at odds at times.
it didn't do a good job at it.
It did not know. No, until the end, until the last scene of the movie, and then you got Childs and McReady there, and who's the Thing, who's not? Controversy roils on.
What's your hot take? Who do you think it is?
So I've come down to either neither or Childs. That's kind of it. And the Childs one was interesting. There was a whole little bit. And I watched the movie a bunch. I tell a story. I think I went and saw it when it came out. My dad, I talked to him about it. He said that I wanted to go see it. When that movie came out, I think I was like 6. Like something like the 40th anniversary just came. So I had to be 8-ish. Or maybe I was 8, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah. So I went and saw it pretty early on. I didn't sleep for like three weeks after that.
Going down memory lane there, Joe.
I love it. It's a great movie. It's a movie it's more about paranoia than about the infection of the Thing. And that's John Carpenter said that. That's what the movie is about. But the director of cinematography, I think, one of the other kind of folks on the film, they had a whole hot take that they had to distinguish between the Thing, things that are infected with the Thing and non-infected. And they said there is a glint of life in the eye. And so when you go and look at the movie, you see the dog, you see people, like you can see a little glint that's not from a naturally reflected kind of source. So like at the end, Childs has the fire reflecting in his eye. You go, aha, there it is. But you don't see that little speck of glint in his eyes. Like when you see McReady, he has it at that end, and the fire's there, but it's something different. And you see that consistently through. So I think, but John Carpenter said that's a bunch of bull. He used a different word. He used Nick's favorite word.
Which word is that, Joe? I'm sorry.
You know which word it is.
Hey, I think I've been good this episode. I don't think I swore at all.
Yeah, no, you're right. You haven't yet.
I mean,
we still have a little bit. I have a little bit of beer. You had a bunch of. You've got to finish your yeast pellet.
No, I think I'm done.
Oh, that's why you got to the. But yeah, so I think that's like a space example. So you would have something. I don't know what's in space. I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, well, it's not awesome. It's like, wow, we're not alone. But now we're going to get all turned into zombies. I mean, that's right. So I mean, Invasion of Body Snatchers.
Oh, I wouldn't consider that one zombies.
Well, where aren't they zombies?
Because they're body snatchers. Oh, wait.
I mean, right. I mean, they take over and then you become a drone of yourself. I guess they're not eating. So the Thing didn't either eat. It wasn't actively craving flesh. So that wasn't, if we're going to say it's strictly zombie, those are things that came from outer space that then that would infect there. And then you have you mentioned genetic, or I don't know if you mentioned genetic alterations. Leviathan, that was like one where the sea creatures, they were turning into they were trying to modify people to become deep sea organisms, like creatures. A lot of weird stuff people do in movies.
I'm always down for it though.
Yeah.
I mean, not for it to happen to me. Like, I'm not saying I'm about that life, but you're
not with the we just did a mutants episode, so I mean, we got to wait a little bit before we recover that. But what's your survival level? Like, where are you at? Like, I said a 6. I was, but I
think I'll last no longer than a week. Yeah.
So you're at 1 week?
Yeah.
I didn't give a time. I didn't get rating. Oh, a time. Yeah. I mean, at 6, I'm probably going to go for a little bit.
No, either I'm going to die immediately. I'm probably going to be patient 0.
You just drank that yeast. That's probably it.
I do a lot of dumb things.
We have a new host for episode 7.
Or make your way up north. Make them slow as shit.
I guess, right? I mean, that's, yeah.
Going in the snow,
the Dead Snow, that movie where they were the snow zombies, right? So
Nazi zombies.
Yeah. I mean, and they were like experiments, right? That was they were genetic experiments, right? Yeah, they were like Winter Soldier in there, right? Because maybe he's like a zombie, Captain America.
But yeah, like either one of the two. Either I'm going to last a week, or I'm going to make my way up north and let them be slow. But then again, I'll probably freeze to death because I'm not a survival expert.
You got to have some skills. I mean, you're going to freeze yourself. Like that's.
I follow an Instagram account, and he does things that I look at and
Instagram.
go, "Oh yeah, That looks super easy.
Well,
I'm not going to know
once
what I'm
the
doing.
internet, the person who knows how to run the internet dies, then you're not going to have any.
Oh no,
that's
I'm going to be lost.
See, look here. So we're down in the basement, so you want to pull something out to prove I'm ready because internet goes down. Look at that. Look, that's pulled out my country wisdom and know-how. Everything you need to know to live off the land. That's what I have in a hard copy, not some phone copy. So this has it's a complete.
All right. So first, I have to come here, see if Joe is still alive. If not, I'm stealing a book or two.
No, it's that. Yeah, I have quite a collection of books that would.
I have a katana. That's
now
about all I got to self-defense.
I'm not declaring what weapons I have on in my person.
That's the only thing I have.
You need to read Max Brooks' How to Survive a Zombie.
I have that in my car, actually.
Yeah. Are you reading it?
Obviously, I've read it.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I think I actually got my...
You don't sound... You got a katana that's a...
It's not a great weapon, but you know what? It helps in a pinch.
I mean, you don't need... I mean, it's not a bad weapon. You don't need to reload it.
It's only good if you know how to use it, Joe.
That's... as you chop off your own arm. Yeah, that's...
And then I got to put a chainsaw on my arm, and you know...
You do, right. There you go.
And then the Deadites come after me.
That's right there. Those are zombies, right? Were they the Deadites? Are there? They came back. I mean, they were...
I would consider them zombies.
Right.
They're...
like those skeletons from Jason and Argonauts.
Yeah.
Oh, those were... Yeah, but that's it right there. They didn't eat flesh though. They just had swords. I mean, they were like knew how to use tools. I mean, they're smart. I mean, with no brain. They didn't even have a brain. They were just
bones.
They're just bones.
Just a bag of bones.
Memories into bones.
We're just a bunch of bones too. I mean,
well, we're a little more than just bones.
Bag of bones.
We're a sack of fleshy bones. Yeah,
just like tortillas.
Just like tortillas. Yeah, obviously. I know. I got to go get a corn tortilla and see. People need to weigh in. It's corn tortillas. Like if someone has eaten, no, I don't. Never mind.
No. Let's bring out the cannibals. Hit us up. We want this email. We need to know. Have a thing of flesh with a tortilla.
Cooked flesh because like like pork. I mean, like pork skins. But I mean, I'm not eating that raw. Like I mean, I don't know if I've had any. I mean, like chicken skin. Maybe that's what she meant. I mean, I haven't not eat chicken skin raw either. Like, but I'm just saying, like when you touch it.
Yeah, sure, Joe. Yeah. Go ahead and stand in her corner. Die on this hill.
No, I'm not dying on any hill. 'Cause I'm coming back as a zombie. I already said I'm coming back, smart zombie with my country wisdom. Yeah, no. Favorite? You got a favorite zombie movie?
Damn, that's a hard one, man.
It is. You need some movies here. Let's see. I have books too, but I wrote down a little list because I was like, I want so we got classics, Night of the Living Dead, comedic ones, Shaun of the Dead, 28 Days Later. We talked about World War Z.
So damn good.
Train to Busan, Zombieland, Resident Evil, Walking Dead TV series, Last of Us. You got, I'm gonna say iZombie again. No, you're right. I mean, I think zombie movies are hard. I do love the classic. I mean, you got to give a lot of love to Romero in that first and the vision to kind of put that crazy thing out. It was totally underappreciated when it came out for a number of reasons, but I think you look back at it and see it. Modern movies. I don't know. I don't particularly like fast zombies. I'm not a fast zombie fan because I think I don't think they work.
Later, or
I know. I want to like it, but
that was so good though.
Yeah, that was the virus one. That was the rage virus, right? So it's not even
that was infecting monkeys, and
that's right. Yeah, they gave it a little bit of explanation, but I don't like the fast zombies. Just it is because people aren't that fast. Not all the people aren't that fast. People listen to this. How fast are you? And you're not. You're going to be slower.
We need you to speed check.
You're going to be a little bit slower after you become a zombie because if you're really the zombie that came back to life, you're there. But yeah, I like the classic
Dead Alive. Oh, Dead Alive. That was such a good one. Sorry, I'm doing a quick search.
No, you're there. Kind of
Honestly,
looking.
Dead Alive might be one of my favorites. Next to Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
Scooby-Doo. I don't think I've seen Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. But everyone goes to the fast zombies because I think slow zombies aren't an interesting story.
They're an impending doom. Like the speed in which they're going, yet they're going to catch you.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. But I think if you had a bell curve of zombie speed, because it's going to be numbers, right? Like if you're in Chicago, in Chicagoland, what is it, like 13 million people, and all of not including Chicago the city and all the surrounding suburbs and the Chicagoland area, and it's like 13 million people. That's a lot of people, and you kind of do the numbers. You go 90% or so. Where you're at there, you're in millions there, so that you're just going to get caught by groups of people and running down the one-way streets in Chicago. You're probably going to get eaten.
Yeah.
and not even come back as a zombie. Because once you get eaten, you're done. I mean, it's not like a bite, right? So they can't eat you all the way. It's like that was the other thing. Because if they eat you too much, you might come back as a zombie, but you can't move around so fast.
Just
right?
crawling around.
Because that's it. People got bit in the legs. Chunks of meat are taken out. So that means that they're structurally unable to run that fast. Teeth don't chew through things. So like you could wear like leather. I mean, there's like good survival things because you just can go like, you don't grow fangs and then you're biting into people. So there's this whole kind of if the zombies came, you would have to be smart about it and kind of let the population go and then
really
and then
banking
move.
on being smart, aren't you there?
You got to be smart. You got to have that country wisdom, man. And get to the country. Get to low population areas.
Go north.
I know. Where are you going north?
Cold ice keeps them even slower.
Well, right, but that's what it also can slow decomposition.
Yeah, but they're walking even slower.
Obviously they're just walking normal speed now, which is totally fast, right? You're
fine.
like,
get a houseboat.
But they can breathe underwater.
Yeah, but you're in a boat.
They can come up. I mean, they will soon float. Think dead bodies float up to the top soon.
I'm
right?
hoping a shark will eat them.
Well, the
sharks
don't like human flesh.
Yeah, but if they're going to be floating, they're going to look like
the sharks are smart. They know. They're like,
oh yeah. Oh, let's get the IQ of a shark. Can anyone write in and tell us how smart a shark is?
Don't sleep on a shark, man.
I don't.
Yeah,
sounds like a terrible idea. They'll eat me.
They're not going to eat you. They don't like human flesh. It's accidental. They would apologize, but people freak out.
Yeah. Who's that one girl that got her arm bitten off?
It only bit the arm. I mean, if it liked human meat, it would have eaten. It was like, man, this tastes like corn tortillas. I don't like flour. It's gross.
I only like flour tortillas. This corn tortilla sucks.
That's like zombies. I mean, I don't know. Space zombies. What's left? Zombies in 3D, like the Apple Vision Pro zombie.
I'm too poor for that, Joe.
That's out of my.
Unless someone wants to gift it to me, I'm never going to see that.
I gifted it. Yeah, we'll try out on the rabbit hole of research. We'll do a show in the Apple
you could
Vision
act
Pro.
like you're right here with us.
Right here. I don't know if you want that.
Watch me spit yeast into a can.
I'm trying to see if I have. We've touched on like a lot of stuff about zombies. Probably could talk more. More zombie questions. You buy all in. You're ready for the zombie apocalypse. Is that you're feeling?
I guess what we're saying. I'm ready to die in this.
We're right. I mean, your base feeling. You came in like zombie apocalypse is going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. If someone needs a bagel made, I can make them a bagel.
Bagel. But you can cook. That's a good skill. I need people that can cook because I need someone that knows the value of my soy sauce packets. So I don't have that. I mean, you got nothing.
Hey, I mean, I can make a mean mac and cheese, but
you got to be able to milk the cow.
Yeah,
make the cheese. I can make cheese. I make cheese.
You got a cow back here too?
I don't have a cow. No, you're absolutely right. No, I don't have a cow. I don't have any mammals we can milk.
No livestock.
I have no livestock. No. It's a
shame.
I don't think we can. I think it's against some ordinance.
Yeah,
chickens or nothing like that.
Oh, no chickens ever.
Nothing. No.
I don't have any chickens.
That's why you got to go get to the sparsely populated chicken-containing area with your katana hunting chickens.
Yeah, that's gonna be me. You're gonna find me out in the wilderness with my katana, swinging away. I'm not gonna kill a chicken with a katana just wildly.
They're fast.
That's irresponsible.
And they're quick. You're going to be a quick zombie to get those chickens. Well, cool.
I think we went down that hole.
We went somewhere. We went all over the place. We went to space this time. I mean, it was like space zombies.
I feel like soon we're going to end up having a whole space episode.
Well, we got to. No, I think that's it.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to happen. So we got to talk about the taste of space. You had that.
Oh yeah,
that was a whole thing that you had that.
Did I text you that?
Baked good.
Oh yeah, that's
right. You made. You're right.
I keep texting you random ideas.
You created something, right? You had teleportation. I think was on there, and how fast is the Flash or something like that. So
how fast is too fast?
Oh, too fast. Right. All right. Okay. How fast is there? Too fast?
Oh, that's
zombies can be too fast. So I already said that. And I think. I don't buy that. I like the zombies to be a little slower.
But I think that's going to be a hole for another day. Different hole, different day.
Different one.
That. Nope, that one's a terrible one.
Yes. Let's, yeah, I know.
We got to work on that one.
I think this is it. I've done my beer. Nick has had his mouthful of yeast, and now he's well on his way to becoming a zombie. In my model, he's halfway there. It's a zombie. This has been an interesting journey down a rabbit hole of infection.
And we hope you don't get infected soon.
We always hope that our listeners do not get infected, unless you get infected with the thirst of knowledge, and you'll come back down the rabbit hole with us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.